The Chicago Blackhawks snapped their 6-game losing streak and beat the Dallas Stars 4-3 in a shootout in an absolute thriller. I gotta be honest, that was one of the most exciting Blackhawks games I've seen all year, and the Chicago Blackhawks were without their first and second line centers, Frank Nazar and Connor Bedard. Obviously, Ilya Mikheyev was attending to his wife, who's having a child, so he was not in the lineup. You had Landon Slaggert playing on the first line. You had Landon Slaggert playing on the first line. I don't know. You were up against the Dallas Stars, who are the second best team in the league, and the Blackhawks beat them. It was awesome to see, and the moment of the game for me was without a doubt Nick Lardis winning it in a shootout. Has had very limited ice time since he's been with the Blackhawks, and maybe that's a discussion I need to have at some point in a video within the next week or so on the channel. But look, it has obviously not seen a ton of favor in Jeff Blashill's eyes, not been activated the way maybe many fans thought or hoped he would be, but I understand it in a way. Like, you do have to, you got to prove it in this league, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes at practice and whatnot, but he just hasn't been playing a ton. And so for him to step up in the shootout there with the game on his stick on the road in an absolutely sold out crowd in Dallas, a couple days removed from Christmas, that was special. That was special. To say I was jubilant would be an understatement. I almost had an aneurysm. Go back, look at the stream, watch my reaction. I'm red in the face. I almost passed out. I wanted that so bad, and I just feel like it's been tough. It's been tough for us Blackhawks fans the past couple weeks. Things have been rough without our two superstar forwards. We needed that one, but more than myself, more than the fans, it was awesome to see this group get that win because they deserved it. They battled all game long, and it wasn't just Lardis. There were a lot of guys that I need to show love to. The first I'm gonna say is Arvid Soderblom was fantastic. He had a .903 save percentage, saved 28 of 31 shots. He was dynamite. He bailed this team out a couple of times, made some really big saves on breakaways. There were a couple for Mikko Rantanen. There was one on Jamie Benn where he was all alone. I mean, when they needed him to step up, Arvid Soderblom stepped up and he did it big. He was also in Jason Robertson's head. I was saying it on stream tonight. Jason Robertson was cursed. I think Arvid Soderblom did some voodoo magic on him or something because Jason Robertson had absolutely nothing for Arvid Soderblom all night long. Even though he had 4 A+ looks, just could not score past big bad Arvid. So shout out to Arvid Soderblom. He's faced a lot of scrutiny from fans this year, and I don't think it's warranted because I think Arvid Soderblom has had many games like this where it hasn't been perfect, but he stepped up and made big saves at important times, and it's good to see him get a big win like that. Now I need to talk about the defensive core because with Bedard and Nazar out, you need guys stepping up. You need guys lower in the lineup, stepping up, helping out offensively. But more importantly, you need the defense to start getting up in the rush and creating offensively. And I thought every single Blackhawks defenseman did that tonight, but I'd be a fool to not bring up Alex Vlasic. I said it on stream tonight. I think this was the best game I've ever seen Alex Vlasic play. He was an absolute horse. He was everywhere. He looked like Quinn Hughes. When he'd win the puck in his own zone, he was carrying it the entire length of the ice, creating offense. I mean, that first Bertuzzi goal, Bertuzzi had a couple goals tonight. I'll get to him in a sec. That first Bertuzzi goal was just an unreal play from Alex Vlasic, showing the stick handling a little bit, got Ottinger to bite. Once Ottinger fully committed to the shot, that's when Alex Vlasic looked for the pass, found Bertuzzi there early in the first period for a wide open net. And then the third goal, the second Bertuzzi goal, they connect again. This time it was right after that Dallas third goal, which is awesome to see, by the way. Dallas scores that third goal with 8 minutes left. That's so demoralizing. This is the second best team in the league. You played them so well all game. And then you have a bad turnover from Ryan Green, and it kind of felt like all was lost from that point. But this group does not quit, and they didn't tonight. And Alex Vlasic gets the puck at the point, takes a nice shot. Connor Murphy gets a little redirection for it, and Tyler Bertuzzi was in his office where he likes to hang out most and was able to put that one into the back of the net. Amazing response after giving up a goal like that, and that's what I'm looking for. When I'm watching these games without Bedard and Nazar, I'm not looking for wins because I don't expect this team to win without their two most important forwards, without their first and second line centers. I do not expect them to win games, but I'm looking for little things. I'm looking for things like the young blue line to make improvements and make smart plays and get up in the rush. And they did that tonight. I'm looking for the young players like Oliver Moore and Ryan Green and Nick Lardis. I'm looking at those guys to see if those guys can step up and maybe fill holes, whether it be on the PK or whether it be offensively. And we saw that tonight. The penalty kill was fantastic. It was perfect. It was perfect against one of the best power plays in the league. It went 4 for 4. And yeah, it's awesome, man. Like, even though this team has struggled, special teams has remained a bright spot, specifically the penalty kill. It is one of the best penalty kills in the league. And we saw it tonight. It's not just like the veterans. It's not just like Mikheyev, Teravainen, and Dickinson carrying the load. It is guys like Moore. It is guys like Green. When Nazar was healthy, it was guys like him. Landon Slaggert stepped up in a big way on the penalty kill tonight, just hounding pucks, being a nuisance out there. So it was great to see all the young guys step up. And even though the PK lost, one of its most important pieces in Ilya Mikheyev, they still got the job done. They were still perfect against one of the best power plays in the league. So that was a real positive. And lastly, I want to talk about Tyler Bertuzzi. 2 big goals. He's just always in the right spot. It's like no matter who he's been playing with, he's been able to contribute. He's great on the forecheck. Bertuzzi's been excellent this year, and I've been way too hard on him in the past. I don't want to say I've been way too hard on him. I think a lot of the criticism I've given Tyler Bertuzzi over the past year and a half have been quite warranted at times, have been, reasonable. But Tyler Bertuzzi's been absolutely fantastic this year, and I don't want to go without saying that. Man, what a win. What a win. We needed that. And before I go, I do want to say one thing. Because I put out a video today kind of talking about how a lot of people in the Blackhawks fan world on Twitter and a lot of Blackhawks fans are growing restless and very impatient with this rebuild and have been very critical of the forward group and have been very critical of the general manager and of the organization. I'll leave you guys with this. I think that Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar are going to get back into this lineup. I think they're going to have success when they get back into this lineup. I think that the entire team around them are going to be better off after this time of not having Bedard and Nazar. I think the group around them will be better. I think Nazar and Bedard specifically will benefit from that. I think Bedard is not going to get invited to the Olympics. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder. I think all the best players in the league are going to go to the Olympics. They're going to come back. They're going to absolutely struggle for the rest of the season. And all that time between the Olympics and the playoffs, I think Connor Bedard will be the best player in the league, and I think the Blackhawks are going to go on a tear. I'm predicting this now. Before the end of this season, the Chicago Blackhawks will be back in playoff talks. They will be back in the wild card race. I'm saying it now. When they're the last place team in the league. Before, everyone doom and gloom, everyone, oh my gosh, this rebuild's taking forever. There's been no progression over the past 4 years. The Chicago Blackhawks will be back in playoff talks by the end of the year. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs this year. I'm saying they will be back in the wild card race before the year's over. I promise you that. And with that, I will leave you, and I will see you tomorrow for another stream against the Pittsburgh Penguins, 6 o'clock home game. It's going to be a tough travel day. The Bears are also playing. I'm going to have that on, of course. Probably going to be watching more of the Bears game once that comes on tomorrow. But I'm going to be covering it all, so make sure you're here on the stream tomorrow, and I will see you then. Have a great night. Peace out, and go Blackhawks.